I was able to watch and pay attention. You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to see guys like yourself, you know, Kurt Thomas, you know, Keith Askins,
K-Dog,
you know, K-Dog,
Kevin Willis.
Kevin Willis. I mean, the list goes on and on. But just talk about, you know, the beginning, you know, in the building of the culture. You know what I'm saying? That I carried with so much pride. You know what I'm saying? But
we're talking Miami Heat culture now, right?
the Miami Heat culture. But just talk about the beginning when you first got to the Miami Heat.
We're talking about
just establishing that.
We first of all, it started with conditioning. You had to be in the best shape of your life.
If you thought you was in shape, you still had to get in shape.
You had to be in the best shape of your life because Pat's approach was, we're going to outlast our opponents in the fourth quarter. We're going to be in better shape than them. We're going to run them into the ground. Defensively, we're going to be up and into them. Our help defense is going to be impeccable.
Yes.
You know, somebody get beat, a body's there. Yeah. You got to run through me, you know, to get to where you're going, you know. And I loved it because it held guys accountable. Man. It really did. It held guys accountable, you know. So you got in the game, you knew what the hell your job was. And we were all connected to a string. So if I went this way, I was pulling Mike with me. Like, okay, come on over here. You know what I'm saying? And we never left anybody on the island by themselves. Even on the post, we butt front. Yeah. You know, made it hard for the offensive man to catch the ball. And then when he caught it, it was a guy down there digging. He was digging. We gonna make it very hard for you to score, you know, which is why, you know, the scoring totals were much lower. No doubt. You know, because we were defending our asses off, you know. We took pride in holding teams to shooting 39%. 38, 39%. We took pride in that, you know. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to hold you to 39, 38% because we contesting every shot, we blocking closing out, getting every rebound, all of that stuff. We trapping the box. You go baseline, there's a man there. Standing on the baseline, you got to run me over to get where you got to go. You know, so those principles started Heat culture, our 3.5-hour practices. You know, we knew. And let me tell you what, I hated
3.5-hour practice. We're actually 3.5-hour practice.
Close out drills till you can smell the shoes burning. The rubber on the shoes burning. We close out drilling.
How about
not just the guards?
How about
the bigs too? Zodiac closing out to the 3-point line.
How about the loose ball drills? How about the charge drills? You had to take charges from everybody. Boom, boom, boom. You taking charges. You know.
Listen, loose ball, you going after it like your life on the line.
Oh yeah, loose ball. He would put 2 guys on the end line. We go to he'll roll the ball out, he'll blow the whistle, and we all had to go. We 2 had to run and get the ball, and we played 1-on-1 from there. It was no joke. I mean, it was Alcatraz, brother. It was no joke. It was the Rock.
Competition and iron sharpening iron.
It was iron sharpening iron.
I love it, and I don't like to sound like.
But the beauty of it is that we developed so many winning habits that when we got in the game was so easy. Yes. It was so easy. We were like, we just play. We don't want to practice. Man, we want to play. We want to play.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's funny though you say that because, you know, you don't want to be like the guy who walk up a hill both ways to school, you know what I mean? But to these young kids now, like 3.5-hour training camp practice were 3.5-hour practices. Like I was, my rookie year, I get there is Doc Rivers. Obviously Doc comes with a lot of Coach Riley's pedigree. Man, the first training camp practice, you're doing your 17s. If you don't pass your 17s, you're doing 17s the next morning. You do a 17s test, and then you practice for 3.5 hours. Man, I ain't gonna lie, the last hour and a half of my first training camp practice, I don't remember. I don't remember. Because you do that 17s, and you got to pass that 17s test, and then you practice.
By the way, 17s was the width of the court. 17 times.
17 times.
And you had to do it under time.
Under time.
If you didn't make it, it had to be under time. And if you ain't making it, you had to run it over.
I ain't gonna. My first training camp practice, if you asked me to recall, I couldn't recall it. I was like, it was just blur.
But I tell you what, you rather be in practice than in the playpen.
You'd rather
be in practice than in the playpen, so you'll get your ass out there and run.
So if you was hurt or couldn't practice that day, you had to go in the playpen. So Bill Ferran, our strength coach at the time, he had you over there doing exercises, and you ain't all this nonstop different exercises. And you would rather practice than be over the playpen.
I had my sports hernia surgery when I was here before I played for Miami. And I'll never forget, as I was getting back, they put me on that bike. I walked over, and I said, man, I'm practicing tomorrow. They said, you ain't ready. I said, I ain't doing that.
I remember that.
I told you, I promise I ain't doing that. right there.
Man, I was on that. When you could be on that bike, if you had lower extremity issues and you could pedal a bike, bruh,
No,
you were like
worst.
Lance Armstrong over there.
And Bill would be right there. Okay, they're running. Go. Like, no, that's not how this plays out.
But let me tell you something, man, and this is what I have learned. Like that mindset, that will to do whatever it takes to succeed and to put yourself in a winning situation, even if people think you're
It's lost.
That helps outside of basketball, outside of heat coaching. You can take the things that we learn in that mindset, and you can apply that in anything.
But there's a lot of guys, because they don't know about that, they wouldn't value something like that. They look at it as discipline. Like, they disciplining me, we practicing this long, and you're like, no, we are developing some armor to help you deal with adversity come game time, They'll help you deal with challenges, when the game starts, So I was ready for anything.
You said it in here, you were right. Like, one thing about it being here is games were easy compared.
Oh, yeah, the games were easy, for
games
sure.
Games were easy.
Yes.
You're like, oh, that's all it was? You didn't have to ice after the game.
Very much so. So hard-working, hardest working, most professional, toughest, meanest, nastiest, best condition, all these, adjectives, put together to create our culture, and we hold people to a high standard, especially being in the best shape of your life. That's where it starts, because in order for you to perform at your optimal condition, then you got to really take pride into being in the best shape of your life. And it's a lot of guys that don't value that. They really don't. They don't make that investment.
Let me tell you something.
And we can use the analogy as Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt would train for 4 years to run one race.
To run 8 and a half, 9
seconds. 8.5, 9 seconds. So why can't we train and get ourselves in excellent condition to go out there and play 82 games?
It's what what you're saying there, you can talk about with LeBron James, what he's doing right now.
Jesus, let me tell you what.
Let me tell you something.
I am. First of all, I am. First of all, it was an honor to have been in the front office and witness part of his legacy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I got newfound respect.
I agree,
man. It's crazy.
Totally, because
he's in the MVP conversation.
Man. To be 40 years old and to do what he's doing right now is unheard of.
So obviously, my relationship with LeBron. I love this dude, right?
Yeah.
And people asked me when I left Cleveland the last time, how many years do you think you can do this? At that time, I said maybe a couple, 2-3 more years. This level.
He's shooting 52% right now.
His numbers.
He's averaging 25 points and shit.
His numbers now are better than what he did here. That one of the MVP.
Incredible.
It's heard of.
And by the way, his team's number 2 in the West.
That's what I'm saying.
And they win.
And I want to make sure people understand, the rigors and
the jumping, the pounding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Just
the constant jumping
not
and pounding.
This one season.
The banging and all of that. Just the rigors of the sport. I mean, how is he able to do this at 40?
And to go that deep all the time. Like, he's been doing it.
I think he's an alien, man. He ain't from here.
No, Zoe.
He's from another planet. He ain't from here, man.
I've told him, he gets mad at me every time I say it. He's a test tube baby. 100% they went in there and they went, ding, ding.
When I see that,
ding, ding. Oh, look at this guy here.
When I see that get on the scale and it said 265, I said, this is different.
Yeah, totally.
I was a power forward and I was only 240.
How much I weigh right now? I weigh 265 now.
I was a power forward. I weighed me by 25 pounds. I was looking at myself like, I got to get my together.
I've told this story before. Obviously weigh body fat every whatever day it was here. We playing, and I've told the story on here before. This is why I know he's a test tube. We play Indiana. He has like 46, 16, and 9, whatever. Goes overtime. He plays 52 minutes, basically all the minutes. He weighed 265 before. He weighed 271 afterwards or something like that. He gained like 7 pounds.
Well, how was that? Because he drank a lot of fluids or something?
That's why I'm saying he's not real.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's doing this, he just scored his 50,000th point.
Yeah, that's another thing.
He just scored his 50,000th point.
Man, ain't nobody ever gonna break that.
Never.
Yeah, not in our lifetime. Y'all won't see that.
The fact that he's 40.
Yeah.
Yes.
40.
Yeah.
Bro, if you told me to go run right now, I'd be a trouble.
And we talk about guys who we played with this guy. We talk about a guy who actually prefers to pass.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a pass guy. Braun is a pass guy.
He is a pass guy.
50,000 points.
Yeah.
50,000.
Motherfucker will be a ball hog, have 100,000.
Yeah.
He was a ball hog.
I'm telling you right now, man, I hope y'all enjoy it now because y'all gonna miss it when you go.
Enjoy every minute of it. Yeah.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, it's a treat to watch. It really is.
It really is.
You know,
Well, it's getting scary because we talking about Braun, we talking about Steph, we talking about KD.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an end of an era where I might be searching for like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be an end of an era soon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But these young boys, they doing their thing, but it's gonna be an end of an era soon.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this era though. 90s.
Miami in the 90s. Woo, I can't wait. I was waiting to ask this question, Big So, because I ain't had no paper. Them cocaine in the 90s, woo, let me know how it was in the 90s when I was broke sitting over there.
First of all, paint the picture because what I people like, even for guys like me who came around in 2000 and whatever, where did you guys practice and play here? Because we had,
not just practice and play. I want to hear the other shit too.
We are getting
you want to talk about that? I want to hear about the other shit too. Miami in the 90s.
We practiced at Palmetto Rec Center.
What the hell
we
is
didn't
that?
have it's off of 836. It's off of 836. It was like
a rec center.
We practiced at a.
I'm happy I came late. I'm happy I came late.
Palmetto Rec. Oh no, we paved the way.
Because I'll be honest, when I first got to practice,
they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't know that.
These young cats, what y'all are benefiting from, these young cats are benefiting from, right? Y'all don't have a clue what the pioneers of this game.
That's what I'm saying. That's unbelievable.
Y'all don't have a clue what they did to make the game what it is today. You know, what they had to go flying commercial.
Yep.
Okay, they had their own planes.
Flying commercial after the game, you stayed over.
After the game, you stayed over, all of that stuff. You know, it's just
practicing that Palmetto.
I ain't used to that.
No.
Or if it's Philly, New York, they took the bus. They didn't fly.
Oh no.
They were busting it, man. You know, they were finding ways to save money.
Yeah, traveling
like
the globe
because the salary clap.
Damn, man, what we talking about, man? What we doing?
No doubt. You know, and then our practice facility, like I said, was a recreational center. And I remember our first practice.
No locker room there, Zoe?
Bro, our locker room was some old people that had just worked out in the rec center. They were in there with us.
Old balls and all over the place before practice.
Hey, you need to know.
No, I'm leaving. I don't want to practice. First of all, my stomach hurt.
First of all, the out of bounds was the wall. So you had the out of bounds line right here, and you had the wall right there.
See,
so the whole gym, when we practiced, all the out of bounds, so we were running to
the damn wall
with no pads on the wall or none of that. You know, so that's how it started here in Miami in 1995.
Yeah, I ain't know that.
Where were y'all playing your games at?
We played our games in the old arena. Yeah,
that
was right here in Overtown, which literally is maybe a half a mile away from the new arena.
Yes.
And you know, being in that old arena, and I kind of miss the atmosphere in there because we were closer to the fans. You know, so there was more of a homely,
almost like a college atmosphere, a little more
connection. Yeah, most definitely. You know, so
now you can ask your question. 90s off the court,
outside. Miami in the 90s outside when you got some paper.
I feel like a video should be
tell me. I tell people this all the time.
I
never been to South Beach till I got in the NBA zone.
So
you just tell me.
You know what?
Tell me what you want to tell me. Don't tell me everything. Just tell me what you want to tell me.
You know what saddens me about that though? You hadn't been to South Beach because there's kids in Miami right now that live 15 minutes from the beach, and they've never been. And we got millions of people from all over the world
that come here.
Come in here to visit our beaches, you know. And it's unfortunate. It's like there's this invisible wall up. Even adults, you got adults that's never been to the beach because they don't feel like it's for them.
Yeah,
they didn't feel like it don't belong to them. Yeah, they didn't think it's for them. You know, it's a public damn beach. You know, You know, so that's one of the things that we do in our foundation. You know, we try to, part of their development, we try to expose them to parts of Miami that they haven't seen. And part of that is just taking them to the beach, put their foot in the sand and put their feet in the water and what have you, you know. So, but Miami back then was on and popping, man. I had a club.
Oh,
yeah, I had a club on South Beach.
Hold on, breaking news. Breaking news.
What club?
It was called Onyx. And,
I do. I ain't been to Onyx, but I know Onyx.
Pat, Mickey, all of them. They and everybody used to come in and.
You got Pat to come to the club, dog?
He came to the club one night, man. He came to the club, man. He was up there. I had him in the VIP
Raul's
section.
Been holding out on us.
Yeah, man.
You've been holding out on us, Raul. Really?
So it was called Onyx, and it was open a couple years, man. I had a great time, you know. So I'm not gonna tell you some of the stories that.
Nah, I don't want nothing incriminating, but I know y'all had a good
Like
time.
you asked a question about Miami in the '90s. We got to put a VHS tape in or something.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do.
You know, just.
But the beach was on.
We had the Rolex. We had the Cocos. We had the shout out.
We had Cocos and Rolex. We had all that. Rolex was
so that's just so you know. So I just used to hear about y'all. Y'all was legends in the hood. Them boys was in Cocos last night. I'd be like, damn, the boys in Cocos last night. I can't wait. Now get me some money.
The NBA season is heating up, and there's nothing better than being at the arena live. You can sit at the crib and watch a game, or you can get to the game, see your favorite players play live. That's why you have to go to the Game Time app. Go to Game Time now and get your best seats to see your best players play. You will not get better deals anywhere than on the Game Time app. And with Game Time's all-in pricing, the price you see is the price you get. There are no hidden fees or surprise fees at checkout. What could be better? The Game Time app gives you the lowest price guarantee. That means if you find a lower price anywhere, Game Time will guarantee you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code OGs for $20 off the first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code OGs for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Hoop fans, it might be April, but the college basketball action is not going anywhere. Bracket already busted? No problem. You can still get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they are offering all new customers $150 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Download the DraftKings app now, sign up using code OGs, and bet the unexpected. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $150 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the games that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code OGs only at DraftKings Sportsbook.